Street Genius, Part 24. The true measurement of self worth is not how a person feels about her positive experiences, but rather how she feels about her negative experiences. A person like Jimmy hides from his problems by making up imagined success for himself at every turn. And because he can't face his problems, no matter how good he feels about himself, he is weak. A person who actually has a high self worth is able to look at the negative parts of his character, frankly. Yes, sometimes I'm irresponsible with money. Yes, sometimes I exaggerate my own successes. Yes, I rely too much on others to support me and should be more self reliant, and then acts to improve upon them. But entitled people, because they are incapable and acknowledging their own problems openly and honestly, are incapable of improving their lives in any lasting or meaningful way. They are left chasing high after high and accumulate greater and greater levels of denial. But eventually, reality must hit, and the underlying problems will once again make themselves dear, will make them once again clear. It's just a question of when and how painful it will be. Things fall apart. Things fall apart. I sat in my 9 a.m. biology class, arms cradling my head on my desk as I stared at the clock's second hand making laps, each tick syncopated with the teacher's dronings on about chromosome and mitosis. Like most 13-year-olds stuck in a stuffy fluorescent classroom, I was bored. A knock came on the door. Mr. Price, the school's assistant principal, stuck his head in. Excuse me for interrupting, Mark. Can you step outside with me for a moment? Oh, and bring your things with you. Strange, I thought kids get sent to the principal, but the principal rarely gets sent to them. I gathered my things and stepped out. The hallway was empty. Hundreds of beach lockers converged on the horizon. Mark, can you take me to your locker, please? Sure, I say, and slug myself down the hall. Baggy jeans and moppy hair, an oversized Pantera t shirt, and all. We get to my locker. Open it, please, Mr. Price says. So I do. He steps in front of me and gathers my coat, my gym bag, my backpack, all of the locker's content minus a few notebooks and pencils. He starts walking away. Come with me, please, he says, without looking back. I start to get an uneasy feeling. I follow him to his office, where he asks me to sit down. He closes the door and locks it. He goes over to a window and adjusts the blinds to block the view from outside. My palm begins to sweat. This is not a normal principal visit. Mr. Price sits down quietly and rummages through my things, checking pockets, unzipping zippers, shaking out my gym clothes, and placing them on the floor. Without looking up at me, Mr. Price asks, do you know what am I looking for, Mark? No, I say. Drugs? The word shocks me into nervous attention. Drugs? I stammer. What kind? He looks at me sternly. I don't know. What kind do you have? He opens one of my binders and checks the small pocket meant for pens. My sweat blossoms like a fungal growth. It spreads from my palms to my arms and now my neck. My temples pulsate as blood floods my brain and face. Like most 13-year-olds freshly accused of possessing narcotics, and bringing them to school, or want to run away and hide.